Good day. You're on to Dr. Cool Auto Fix. I want to advise you on how to maintain your car so you save yourself from the impending problems, impending financial stampede which you can actually run into due to delay. If you've heard that word, delay is dangerous, take my word for it. It can even get pretty more worse than that. So the first advice I'm going to give you here is the manufacturers have put things like put meal on the table with a expensive price tag which you can afford, and they did all their marvelous engineering with, which is your infotainment and instrument cluster, is giving you details. Some of them are giving you details of what is going on with your car. So ignoring these little things can often tend to lead to expensive repairs down the road. So you want to pay a very good attention and act quickly. That's why I said repairing your car most often times is not going to be at your convenience. You don't do it at your convenience, you do it because it is necessary. It's going to save you a lot of money. So should you choose to ignore it, you're going to run into more problems. However, if you don't have money within that moment, you can decide to park the car and use the public transport. That's going to save you a lot more. Now, go to the second advice which I want to give you is, if you heard a funny noise in your car, you want to investigate it as soon as possible. It can be from the engine, it can be from anywhere, it can be from the chassis, or the stabilizers, parts such as ball joints, struts, linkage, and all that, because it can lead to a severe problem. Let's say you're hearing a clunking noise on the tires and you don't want to give it the right attention it needs. It might be your tire is just about to pull up, and it's going to create not just only a mess for you, it's also going to buy you a problem by damaging the next incoming car, and the bill is going to be on you. So that is why you want to pay attention to any funny noise which you're hearing. Now, as for the instrument cluster informations which I talked about previously, buying a cheap scanner, if you want to do it yourself to save a lot of money, is very pertinent. However, if you choose that the mechanic is going to do it for you, it's going to be a little bit of exorbitant in the cost each time they have to scan. You should scan it yourself. So before getting to mechanic, type it on the YouTube page and you see related information either on the YouTube or internet space that describes exactly what the problem is. You do picture search and you see a lot of more information concerning that, and that will be easy to spot on, then easy to be addressed. So a scanner, a cheap scanner, a code reader is good. Now the next piece of advice I want to give you as you use your car is fluid. Your car have different fluids and they are very, very vital. There are, I think, like 4 most vital fluid which you need to pay attention to. One is the brake fluid. The brake fluid, that's the sign on the dashboard. When that sign is there, there's every tendency that your brake fluid is low or this very handbrake switch is bad. So you want to make sure that you actually investigate properly what is the cause, so you don't run into more problem. The consequences of you not attending to it can lead to a brake failure, which can be that disastrous. So it is very, very important that you attend to it snappily and promptly. It can just be a common brake fluid that is low that you need to top off, and not a huge repairs, and that is going to save you a lot of money. It could be just one of the brake fluid line that is leaking. You can tighten that up, inspect it, and see if it is a piston, the caliper, or the brake lines that got busted. Another fluid that is very important is your coolant fluid. The coolant fluid is very important because some engines are designed so cheap, like Toyota 1ZZ, Toyota 2.4 equipped with 2.4 liters 2.4 engine for Camry 2003 25. There are a lot of other engines that are designed so poor and they're very sensitive to heat. So if your coolant level drop, there is no sensor to tell you like you see in most Volkswagen that have 2 sensors. The one reporting that the coolant is lower than the threshold parameters which need to be topped off, and another that shows that the engine is overheating. So in that regard, you need to frequently, if you have this kind of cars, you need to frequently check the coolant level because you don't want them to stop working. Then another very good thing you also need to do is if your car have AC, is very good feature because you can use your car AC feature to test if your radiator fan is functional as it's supposed to by just starting the car, allow it to warm up to operating temperature, then turn on your AC system. The fan should kick on immediately. If the fan doesn't kick on, then you know there is going to be a problem down the road. The next fluid that is very important, I call it also fluid because it's your engine oil. Your engine uses this fluid to lubricate the moving part, and if it shorts, some cars, like most German cars, when you see Gen Z driving German cars, because they're very sensitive to things getting broke, cutting them off guard. When you go to Toyota I say Toyota is made cheap. A lot of people start getting angry, but it's made cheap because a lot of sensors and a lot of sensors that are supposed to be giving you information are made so cheap that they don't feed you information. I've driven Toyotas that the coolant dried out of the system and the gauge is just about, which is something you never see in German cars. So to me, it was made cheaply. That's the reason why it couldn't report accurately to me, so I will be aware that there is a potential danger that's going to damage my engine, because some of this engine which I call about Toyota, if they overheat, you are 95% chance of replacing the engine. So you want to pay very good attention. But with German cars, they can overheat. Most of German cars, including 406, that is not even German, that's French cars, they can overheat and the coolant dried up completely, and your top cylinder head is not blown, not even to talk about damaging the engine. However, it's rare to come across Toyota that will overheat without the top cylinder head blowing. Sometimes the top cylinder head gasket is not even blown, it's just gotten a little bit flattened up, something I've never heard of, and the engine start developing problem, it start overheating. Next important fluid is the transmission fluid, because automatic transmission fluid is another very sensitive one, because automatic transmission system is very sensitive. It doesn't give the owner a breathing space. What I mean breathing space is when it's due for any sort of maintenance and you skip it for any reason, you are pricing a hefty repair bills, which is not going to be friendly in any way. Automatic transmission system maintenance is not cheap in any way, so you want to make sure that the fluid is at the level that it's supposed to be to avoid burning clutches or destroying the internal component. Because when the fluid drops rapidly, then a very big problem kicks in that comes to destroy the transmission system, unlike the manual transmission system. So that is why the fluid is very important when it comes to maintaining your car, the transmission fluid. The next in line which I want to talk about is your car AC. When your car AC is making a certain funny noise, or you can hear some whistling noise as I'm driving right now. Some of them needs an urgent attention, and some of them doesn't. The one that need urgent attention is those ones that are making a rattling noise. That's a sign that your compressor is lacking oil, and is actually most often caused by leaks in the system. So you want to try top off the oil. That can be a little bit handy because a lot of people will want to discharge the refrigerant before adding oil because they don't have the right tools to do that. But if the tech has the right tool, he should be able to add oil without losing the refrigerant. However, if that noise progresses even after topping off the oil, you should also be very aware, because some systems are very sensitive that if you add oil over, it becomes a problem. So the right specification, the right quantity is the ideal thing, is the kill shot for that. And also topping off your refrigerant. There is a very good information about secrets about topping off your refrigerant and topping off the oil that a lot of people don't know. A lot of mechanics don't know. You see, when your car AC refrigerant is at the level that it's supposed to be and the compressor is functioning as it's supposed to be, you go home happy. This is not just about the AC cooling, no, it's far from that. This is about the system receiving the right reciprocation of cooling that it needs, the seals, the compressor, and other parts for them to function optimally. And this is going to improve the efficiency of your AC, aside you feeling is blowing cold well, but it's also going to increase the longevity of those parts. So go ahead and watch my symptoms of bad expansion valve and you understand. A lot of people don't pay attention to this video because probably because I'm not a white guy and I don't have a fancy shop. So now the next side which I want to talk about here is pretty much about who touches your car. You know, due to the fact that a lot of people are driving for cheap articles or cheap mechanic, they ignore the fact that how well your car is going to be in the next 5 years or 10 years if you want to be with it for 10 years. Depends on who fixes it. If you're not a person who is practicing DIY, stop cutting corners. Look for a pro tech and pay them to fix the problem. You're going to understand later. Why am I saying this? When you pay the cheap guy to do the job, there is a hidden secret which you don't know. He's going to compromise the quality standard of the parts to compensate for that money you don't pay. Most of them do that. So if you pay him poorly, you're feeling, oh yeah, let's say like a lot of you still go as much as for that to buy the parts yourself, shop for the parts yourself and say, yes, I can catch him that way. However, you miss one of the most critical parts. Did you install the part yourself? The answer is no. If you don't install the part yourself and you shop for the parts yourself, then you haven't finished the work. Even if you should try to supervise him to install the part, a little glitch, a little mistake of not installing the parts well, it's going to cost you more. It's going to damage that part in a very short period of time, and you're going to run into the market buying another part again, shopping for another part again. So at last, it's penny wise, pound foolish. In that regard, who touches your car is very important. Over years, about 10 years ago, which I've been fixing different car making model, I really don't have too many customers, but there is something that I made very clear to my customers. When you bring your car to my garage, do not hesitate to complain if your car is not performing as advertised, because I push myself to the highest limit to make sure that the customer car is leaving my garage more healthier than it came. And I don't even, the last thing I want to see is, I don't like calls. I don't like receiving calls, especially spamming calls. So I will do everything I'm going to do to avoid the customer calling me on that very car. He should call for another car, but not call to complain that that car is not. It's going to create me more problem. Downtime, increase, cost a lot of downtime and money. Distract my time I'm supposed to use to fix other cars. So back in the day, you're going to do the job twice. You might also buy parts twice. If you have given the customer warranty, then you understand why I do things like that. So, and that is why sometimes when I step into some people's garage and I see a whole lot of car parked there, it does pinch me a whole lot sometimes. You know, I don't have that pool of customer base, but sometimes I'm happy. Why? Because I'm not getting headaches. It's better you fix one car without flaws for a month and get it well decently paid than you're fixing 10 cars and they're having a lot of other complaints. So don't forget what I said. Find the right guy that can fix your car if you are not the one doing the DIY yourself. This is going to pay off better. This is going to save you a lot of money. Now, when it comes to oil replacement of the engine, it is very critical. It is not always about the synthetic. Trust me. You should ask yourself what happens years ago when synthetic. This was synthetic. The synthetic to me is more like a brainwash. Every motor oil, every oil aside the water which you use inside your coolant system are synthetic, are made by someone. That is what synthetic means. So the so-called mineral oil has been used for decades. Now let me bring something to attention. Why is it that the engine of the old time lasts better than this? Did you notice anything there? Oil plays a critical role. I have examined a lot of cars that use synthetic. Yes, it cleanses the system, but there is something much more deadly than that cleansing the system. When the temperature builds up, and that is why those manufacturers are equipping some of those cars with oil cooler, but it still doesn't do all that. So in reality, there is a point you're missing. The more lubricated, the more oil weight you have, the more better your engine runs. At least 3,000 miles, you should change it and get under one in. And that should be able to save you and keep the car going.